Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show the symbology behavior of the HUD during navigation, target selection, and pursuit, focusing on the changes in symbology depending on whether the target is within the HUD field of view, aka the FOV, the field of view, or not. But first, some basics. You should already know the term SOI, or sensor of interest. These sensors are referred to the TAD, shown over here, the HUD, or heads-up display. The TAD is a tactical display. The heads-up display, and the targeting pod, and the Maverick seeker head here. But primarily we're going to be using the targeting pod, the HUD, and the TAD. So first of all, the other basic thing you need to know is that the SPI, or the specific point of interest, which depends, there is always a SPI. Now the SPI can be determined using the TAD, the HUD, or the targeting pod. Right now I haven't selected any SPI, but there is always a SPI. In fact, here on the TAD display, you can see this wedding cake, which indicates that is SPI. Now, and by using this rocker switch here, I can cycle to the various waypoints in my mission here. So the other thing that you might note here on the TAD is here is our plane. This diamond right here, let's see if we can show that a bit better. There we go. This diamond right here is where the targeting pod camera is presently looking, and it's just bore-sighted ahead right now, it looks like. Okay. So now we go to the HUD. What can we see here? What do we need to know here? Here's our camera, here's our targeting point. Again, it's a diamond. Here it's a kind of an elongated diamond. Here it's a regular diamond here in the center. And if I make the targeting pod SOI, and now if I move the targeting pod around, slew it around, you can see that what it's looking at in this display over here is what this little diamond is looking at in the HUD. The other things to note about the HUD here is we've got two things here together. That it's just the angle at which I'm looking at things right now that it looks like that. It looks a little bit strange. But here we have our total velocity vector. This circle, it has three little notches. Now I'll just let's see. I'll see if we've got a couple of targets here we want to try to find and target. And so I'm going to unpause the simulator and travel a little bit further and see if we can see these targets. Now I don't have to go too far. There's an APC, a building, and some smoke on two hills fairly close to waypoints 3 and 4. When I get to about waypoint 1, they should be becoming visible. Oh, still not seeing them. Yeah, just kind of wants to make a liar out of me. Where did they go? Okay, there. Just see one APC there now. Now I'm going to pause the simulation. Paused. Now I'm going to make the HUD SOI, which I can use the U key to make that SOI. and move the TDC. Now this is called the TDC, the target designator Q, and I'm slewing that with my throttle. I have a Thrustmaster throttle, so I can slew that. Okay, so I'm going to put it about where I think that target is, and then I'm going to TMS up to ground stabilize it, and then make it my SPI with a TMS long, up long. So now it is a SPI. Now this tail, wherever you see a tail here, it means that there's a SPI. It's either pointing to the SPI or the SPI is pointing to the TVV. Here, this is the TVV up here. So now I'm going to slave all the sensors to that point which I just designated with my TMS up. And you can see right now, if I do that, I'll slave them all, and you'll watch the TGP will jump to this spot. There, I've now slaved all the sensors with a China hat forward. And now if I make my TGP soy, you can tell it's soy because it's got this green box around the outside of it. And where did my smoke go? It must be one of the options I got turned off. Okay, so I'm going to laze that and mark it with a TMS right. Okay, so there's one. I've got it marked now. Now I don't see, so as you can see here, so it's now one mark port. Now I want to find that other APC, which is on the other side, so I need to turn the plane a little bit. Okay, before I do that, I point out that this marker right here is pointing to the waypoint. So this is our SPI, this is pointing, this is called a tadpole, pointing to waypoint. So if I increment the waypoint, it's going to move all around. So right now, this waypoint is back behind us. So it's pointing down, which means it's behind us. Now if I go to this waypoint over here, which is number 1, it's over here, off to our right. And it's 1.8 nautical miles away. Again, moving it. Now it's number 2. And it looks like that box right here, it looks like number 2, it's visible. And so it doesn't have the little tail on it. It has a little tail when it's not visible. I go to 3. Again, not visible, it's got the tail. It's over on our right over here. Move it again. Number 4 goes off to the left. Now let me see, I'm going to zoom out here and see. No. Now sometimes it becomes necessary to zoom in and zoom out like that to see what's on the display. Now what am I doing to do that? I'm using the shift and control keys and the numpad asterisk and minus keys to move that in and out. And originally I had decided I was going to make this video in version 2.5 until I realized that some of the symbology, which I haven't described yet, wasn't visible and it wasn't showing up. And even though if I zoomed out to see where it should have been, it's still not displaying. So I've had to make this video in version 1.5 because that symbol does not appear. Sometimes, depending on where it is, does not appear in version 2.5. Okay, so now let me release the active pause, and let's see if we can find that other APC, which, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to pause it again. Pause. I'm gonna move, instead of trying to find it with the TGP, which I could do. That's pretty slow. So I'm gonna use the U key. This asterisk here means I've got the HUD selected. I can move my TDC, my target designator Q, up to it. TMS right, excuse me, up to make it speed. Now notice that it's pointing, the arrow is either pointing this tail on this marker here on the HUD, this box is either pointing to the TVV if it's visible in the HUD's field of view, or if it's not visible in the HUD's field of view, the tail will be coming off the TVV, pointing to the display. So I believe I made that into a mark point. I'll do it again if I didn't. I may have 3 mark points now. I don't remember. So let's see if I can get to. Okay. So here I'm going to change it into mark point mode. Go back here. Now I have. It looks like I have 2 waypoints. Mark points rather, A and B. I'm in mark point mode now, and if I hit my selector switch, it's going to bounce between those 2 mark points. So this is how you can select multiple targets and get your sensor to I'm going to China hat forward to slave everybody to it. There, I slaved everybody to it, and I didn't actually select anything specific, which wasn't very good, was it? I should have selected something worthwhile. So I'll do that. I'll make the targeting pod soy, and I'll make this a mark point. So now I should have 3 mark points. I just made another one with TMS right. There it is. Now, if I China hat back, and now it's going to toggle between, as I hit this button here, this toggle here, the camera is jumping from one mark point to the other. So it's going from one speed to the other. So this, have you marked 2 targets as speed, this is a fast way to get your target onto what you want to shoot quickly by having them made them into a mark point and just telling it go over here, go over there by toggling this switch here. And then if you have that done for say a couple of tanks or APCs, then it's easy to jump from one to the other and can get 2 shots or 3 shots off in rapid succession, which I've managed to do, get 3 off in rapid succession using a technique like this. Okay, so let's see what else there is to note here. Okay, so right now, what is our speed? Our speed looks like it's at C. Now I've bore sighted my targeting pod now. So now if I want to get it back to one of the waypoints, I can just click on my target designator here and then make it SPI again. Where's my A? There. And now I can jump between them again. So, and notice still this little tadpole is pointing to our next waypoint. So let me unpause it again and continue flying and see how this is going to change the symbology. Okay. So right now, let me pause that for a second. You notice that what's your TVV pointing at? It's pointing at a SPI, but the SPI isn't visible. There it is. I changed the width of the field of view here by backing the camera up. And you see there now, you can see it's 20 degrees. So it tells you it's out of the field of view. It's out of the field of view. Now watch what happens. I'll turn towards it. Let me unpause it. I'll turn towards it. What happens to that tail? There, it's gone. Now the tail is on the ground where the target is, and the target is pointing to the TVV. Okay, now waypoint mode. Let's see if I can get my waypoint mode. There, okay, it worked that time. So I'm using my voice attack to control that switch. Okay, so what, so here's, remember this is the tadpole is pointing at my waypoint. I've got a note there probably saying my, I gotta acknowledge this to stop that blinking. My timer on my Maverick is timed out. Okay, so where's my SPI right now? Looks like we need to give it some gas here. Where's my SPI? SPI is behind me. So there should be, again, I have to zoom out. I have to zoom out. I'm going to run into the other. I'm going to have to zoom this thing out. There it is. There it is. 160 degrees, 3.2. So it's behind me, 150 degrees, 3.6 miles. So here's my speed. There's the plane. There it is behind me. So I think that's all I wanted to do. I could do something with the TAD and hooking how the symbology changes. Oh, well, we could, let's just turn on around. Let's just turn on around here. And look at the symbology on the HUD when the Maverick Seeker head is our soy. So where are we? We got to go all the way around. 70 degrees, you can see it right there. 70, 60, here, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay, so there, now there it is. Now if we go to our Maverick, I'm going to have to zoom out to get a hold of my button here. There we go. And slave it to that SPI. There it is. We can't quite see it yet because it's down the hill. Let's see. Need some contrast here. Okay, well, I'm at my gimbal limits. I'm probably flying right over it. Yeah, I've missed it. Anyway, on the HUD symbology, you can see when well, I guess you can't see, can you? Because it's no longer in the field of view. So, let's see what happens here. Yeah, I know. Back on around 10 degree. There it is. There's our target right there. What was I aiming at?
Pull up.
I don't know. Doesn't look like I was aiming at anything.
Altitude.
Okay, well, anyway, I think that's all I'm going to do. Hope you find this useful. Okay.